Tonight, our guest speaker will be Ms. LaShonda Williams, and I'll just give you a little bit more about her. She took interest in real estate in 2001, but decided to actively pursue her interests in 2005 by taking real estate classes and received her license shortly after. She worked part-time in real estate since 2005 up until late December 2018 when she decided to ditch corporate America as an international import-export coordinator and supply chain logistics specialist and pursue a full-time career in real estate. LaShonda earned her managing broker license in 2019 and started her own independent real estate firm, Living Well Realty Company. She has a comprehensive understanding of the market and is skillful in strategic pricing and marketing. She offers straightforward and honest expertise. LaShonda served as treasurer on the board for RWCI Realtors Women's Council of Illinois, January 25th, 2019 to present, which has a mission to educate low to moderate income communities about home ownership and property acquisition. LaShonda is also a member of the DRB, Dearborn Realtors Board. We thank you tonight, Ms. LaShonda, and welcome. Just a few moments. Here's a little video she wanted to show you guys tonight. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Hope you guys were able to see my screen. Okay, LaShonda, the stage is yours. Go ahead.
Okay. Are you shared it already? Okay, again, hi everyone. I'm LaShonda with Living Well Realty, and I'm just going to jump right in and go over just some bullet points on how I start the pre-listing and pre-marketing of a property. Are we there yet? Preparation for selling success. I want to start off by verifying all the property facts, such as the year the property was built, the style of the property, if it's a bungalow, Victorian, ranch, Georgian, 2-flat or 3-flat, verifying the square footage of the property and also the square footage of each individual room, the year the mechanics were installed and or serviced, how much is owed on the mortgage, the property index number, or what we call the PIN number. Also, if there are any exemptions that apply to the property, such as homeowners exemptions, senior exemptions, disability or senior freeze, and also if there are any tax delinquencies, and if so, what's that amount? Okay, and then we'll start with also gathering exterior and interior property features, such as the number of bedrooms and baths, if there's a master suite, master bath, the basement, if it's full or finished, laundry area, flooring details, appliances, countertop, fireplace, garage, and number of spaces. And I will schedule a one-on-one consultation with the seller to discuss what their expectations are for listing a property. They may have a specific time frame that they want to sell, whether it's could be 3 months, 6 months, or up to a year. Again, how much is owed on the property, if there are any taxes or assessments, and what the seller is expected to net from the sale of that property. We'll discuss the marketing strategy plan and also the commission distribution, which is split generally in 4 ways: the buyer's agent, the buyer's broker, the listing broker, and the listing agent. We also want to make sure that the seller is aware of the pros and cons when listing the property. You can either list above market price, at market price, or below market price. But one of the pros at listing a property above market price is that you can find a buyer to set a new value for the home and the neighborhood. A con is that your property can sit on the market for a long period of time, resulting in an expired listing. One of the pros for listing at market value is pricing at fair market. It gives you an advantage of exposure online and appealing to agents which will be, motivated to share your listing with other buyers, and much easier appraisal. The con would be that you could potentially be leaving money on the table. If you price market value, it can create a frenzy among buyers and create competition, which will drive up the price, and you can ultimately end up selling that property for higher than the listing price. One of the cons would be that the buyer bidding on the lower number may not be qualified or capable of getting financing for the actual intended sale price. We want to also discuss the features that will increase the value of the home and also decrease the value of the home. Remodels and upgrades we all know will definitely increase the value. Also, any nearby parks or sports arenas. Curb appeal is always a good thing because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. We want to know the walkability of the property and what's nearby, if there's schools, shops, grocery stores, and also what views you have can increase your value as well. If you're close to any landmarks, parks, or beaches, and also proximities to highways and public transportation. And also some of the features that will decrease the value. This list can be extremely lengthy. We don't have that kind of time, but odors and extreme renovations, you don't want to over personalize your property. It may not yield you the return that you're looking for. Nearby power lines, train tracks, and low scoring school districts, again, can also affect the property value. Okay, once we do that, I'll create a comparative market analysis report for the client, which is known as a CMA report. And it's basically a side-by-side comparison of homes that have recently sold in the area, in the neighborhood, around the same price range. And this purpose is pretty much to show the estimated value based on what other buyers and sellers have determined through past sales, pending sales, and homes that have recently sold on the market. Okay, and once we finish with the consultation and come up with the list price and how the seller is expected to market the property, I will gather all the necessary agreements and the documentation that are necessary to input into our MLS system, like the marketing agreement and all of the property disclosures. And the marketing agreement is pretty much the agreement between the brokerage and the seller. So this will show all the property details and the price amount that you have agreed upon to market the property, and also show the time frame in which to market it, whether it's, again, it could be a year, 6 months, 3 months, depending on what the seller is expecting. And again, all the property disclosures, which are very vital to any property being marketed. So these forms have to be filled out by the seller. So if a seller is aware of any material defects in the property, it has to be disclosed. Again, property disclosures, lab-based disclosures, and this is a form that's required for any property that has been built prior to 1978. Radon disclosures, and also the short sale agreement, but that's only required if there's a possible short sale that may be pending. Okay, and now it's time to prepare the home for marketing. All that information that I've gathered from the seller, I will input that into the MLS, upload all the documents, all the agreements and the disclosures, order the yard sign, schedule the property for staging, arrange professional drone videos and photos, and arrange showing instructions, set up a broker open house, and market on social media, and make sure to communicate all updates, because in real estate, this is known, time is of the essence. Okay, the marketing strategy. This is one of my favorite quotes or definitions, vision, and I use this in a lot of my marketing material. Vision is the ability to see the potential in what others overlook. Again, I just wanted to repeat that: vision, the ability to see the potential in what others overlook. So I like to take my clients and potential buyers, what I call on a visual journey. So As I'm marketing the properties, I want to give the buyers the opportunity to step inside of a rehabber's world to experience step-by-step progression. And it also allows potential buyers to open up their vision to see what a dated property can look like after it's been rehabbed. And I visit listings frequently to take photos and videos, again, to show the progress as it helps the momentum for potential clients. And I have a few clips here of some of the listings that I currently have, just to, again, to show the progress and the side-by-side comparison of, how the property is coming along. This first property is located at 5820 West Washington. It's a single family home, 5 bedrooms, 3.5 baths. And as you can see, the first picture is pretty much self-explanatory. It shows them taking out the old windows and installing the new windows. And the gentleman there is giving this property a nice little clean down, a power wash. And you can see the picture to the left shows the before and after photo of after it's been completely power washed. Photo down to the left shows a wall being put up here, an accent wall, electric fireplace, and new drywall pretty much. Okay, this next property located at 3646 Home in Berwyn, again, shows before and after photos of what the home looked like. And again, this is all part of marketing. This is the same property before and after pictures. And this is another one, 1536 South Central Park. This was a long project, and this was a complete gut. We were actually supposed to be closing on this property tomorrow, but probably be pushed out to next week sometime. Again, turned out to be a beautiful rehab. And I consider myself as a novice, so I've only had a couple of investment properties. One was a fix and flip, and that was in 2019. And I just wanted to share this with you all. I call it the the S&S property because it was extremely, extremely, extremely stressful, but it was also successful, considered to be the first flip. Again, show before and after photos here. It was a short sale that was purchased at $98,500 and sold for $219,299. And that was in 2017, purchased 2017 and sold in 2018. Okay, and that concludes my presentation. Thank you everyone for tuning in to the 4th annual event of Hard Hats and Heels. And remember, vision is the ability to see potential in what others overlook. I appreciate you all.
Okay, thank you for that, Ms. LaShonda. I don't have any questions in the chat. Did anyone have any questions that they wanted to ask Ms. LaShonda before we end the session? If you do, just put them in the chat and then we'll try and get them answered for you. Okay, well, I did have a few questions. Should I get a pre-listing inspection?
Absolutely. So that is recommended no matter what type of property you have, even if it's new construction. I highly recommend to always get not a pre-inspection. So I'm thinking of my buyer side now. So you can get a pre-inspection. However, I would generally, because whatever comes up in the inspection, the buyers will address it anyway. So as a seller, you would probably want the buyer to have the inspection as opposed to you having the inspection before they buy it. Because again, whatever comes up during that inspection, it will be addressed by their inspector. Not unless it's required, like depending on where you live, some villages require pre-inspections.
Okay. All right, well, thank you for that. Now, there's so many people in real estate. Everyone I meet, they're getting a real estate license, they're in real estate, And what I wanted to know is what sets you apart from other realtors? What makes LaShonda Williams?
Okay, so I pride myself on customer service. So follow up and communication is definitely key in real estate. If you're not communicating, you're not doing your job. So that definitely sets me apart from an average realtor. I'm not just saying this because because I go above and beyond for my clients from A to Z.
Okay. Okay, and your photos, like your before and after photos, were really great. And it's so much competitive. It's a competitive market. So how can I get top dollars for my listing?
That's a good question. So, well, you don't want to price yourself into a corner. So just give yourself room for negotiation and make sure you understand the highest price that you want and also the lowest price that you will accept. So everything plays a factor into getting the top dollar. So curb appeal is one. Making sure you declutter your home, keeping your emotions in check. Like, don't take everything personally because yeah, it's a business transaction. And anything that you are aware about the property, so don't hide anything. If you're aware that you have leaks or electrical issues, and definitely try to get those issues addressed prior to putting the property on the market.
Okay. So declutter, said the person has start packing. Should I deep clean?
So you want to clean, clutter, and take away anything that's personalized in the property. So if you're selling, you don't want to have personal photos up, and yeah, decluttering is a major to me for a buyer. I don't think any buyer wants to come into a house that's completely messy.
Okay. That's totally understandable. When would you say the best time to list a property?
Generally, it's around the springtime is the best time to list. The buyers are more aggressive in the springtime as opposed to the winter months.
So you're thinking like April to June?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay. All righty. I don't know. Did anyone else have any questions? Maybe LaShonda can answer for you. I had all the questions.
Hey, LaShonda, it's Shannon. So I was going to ask you about the first part when you started talking about the before and after and creating the vision for the buyers and stuff. Are you saying like maybe have something at the property with some of the before photos so they can actually see that? Like I can print it and have it on the countertop or something like that?
Yes, you can print it, but what I do too, again, because I consider myself just as a visual person. I like to see things, and as they're coming, into fruition. But I do a lot of marketing on the social media, so
Okay.
I progress of it. So I'm constantly, taking new videos, new photos, and just uploading them to social media to show, okay, this is where we are. This is where we were last week. This is where we are today.
Okay, I like that. Okay.
Okay, I have a question in the chat from Miss Carlene. How do you select your contractors for the rehab jobs? Good question.
That's a good question. Again, I won't consider myself a pro. I've only had one flip, so. And
maybe we should let Miss Shay shine in.
Yeah, she can definitely chime in. But the investors that I have, they have their own crew.
Okay. Any more questions?
Now, I don't think necessarily a question, but wow, this presentation is great. Thank you so much for making it so visually pleasing. It just like was able to touch on everything. So thank you so much for preparing this.
Questions? We got a few more moments to answer any questions, anything that you wasn't clear of. That maybe she can go over, but it seems like everything was just straight to the point. Get your houses ready, get them staged, make them look good, give it curb appeal, and get it listed.
Madam LaShonda, may I speak?
You are welcome to speak.
I was gonna say, she's saying she's not experienced with the contractor side. So my advice to you is to go in the neighborhoods where you are working and pay attention to the people that are working in those neighborhoods and go out and introduce yourself, because that's how I met a lot of the tradespeople and the contractors. And I can actually sample and see their work and how committed they are by what times they're on the job, if they're late or early. So that's a good way to meet individuals in the profession.
Oh, well. The floor is open. Any questions?
Can you go back to the, can you go back on your presentation, please?
Go back, how far?
I'm trying to see which one I was trying to read. All right, can you go to the CMA? How is it, can you describe the process of a comparative market analysis?
So, yeah.
Like more just an idea, because this is, I think, where we're having the biggest pain points in some of the transactions going on in the city, is not having the right appraisers appraise our properties and know estimated values for certain neighborhoods. So I'm thinking this is something that if we can just elaborate a little bit on a comparative market analysis.
You know, I wanted to share an experience, if you all don't mind. I don't know how much time that I had on this.
You're a little low, LaShonda.
Okay. Is it better now?
A little bit.
So I just wanted to share an experience that I had on a listing on the west side, 1536 South Kedzie, where we had a property listed, and it was appraised for $20,000 less. $20,000, not $2,000, but $20,000 less than the contract price. Yeah, right. The crazy part was that even the buyers, it was my listing, the buyer's agent, the buyer's lender, and also the buyer's attorney were all shocked at this appraisal report. So my client actually wanted to just move forward. He was just ready to get rid of the property. I'm like, oh no, we won't. We will be appealing this appraisal. And that's exactly what we did. We appealed it, and I found other properties that were similar. And I'm not sure how this appraiser missed this, but I found other properties that were similar. It took like 2.5 weeks for us to finally get the revised appraisal report. But needless to say, he changed the appraisal and put it at the price for the contract price. So.
How do you determine if the comps are not accurate? Just by what sold prior, or how do you determine that?
Prior, so and I'm not speaking in terms of an appraiser, because they have a more thorough and more in-depth process than, you know, the actual CMA report. But you definitely want to find properties that are like, you know, the properties, and I usually go back 6 months to see what recently sold. The square is based on the square footage, and I do in the city like 0.5 miles out. And of course, you go by, you know, what upgrades have been done to the property as well.
Okay. I'm currently thinking about listing my house, and the idea of showing my house while living in it kind of doesn't sound good to me. I just don't want to list my house while living in it and then having to adjust to showing schedules.
Yeah.
What is a way to work around that, or what do you suggest?
So one thing about that, you can be as creative as you want to be when it comes to selling your property and showing your property. So you can have specific days set aside to where I only want to show it on Mondays between 2 to 4, or Saturdays, you know, between 7 and 3, whatever time you choose. So yeah, you can be as creative as you want with that.
Okay. I want to have like an open house policy so I can Gary up and get it sold.
I'm only going to do open houses and no showings. Open houses for the next 3 weeks on Saturdays and Sundays. So.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Good questions for tonight. Good questions. I did like reviewing that CMA report. That was very good.
Yes. Anyone else? Symphony, can you hear me? So I just want to say a past client, Ms. Symphony. You know what? And it's just dawned on me. I just want to add to this really quick. Okay, Symphony, do you mind me sharing this?
No, go ahead.
So when I met Symphony, I was actually with another brokerage firm, and I changed over, and they had the listing had expired, and I asked, I'm like, can you please allow me to represent you? I said, you, and then she was my first client as Living Well Realty, as my own company. And I thank her so much, and she's been, you know, still sticking around. As a matter of fact, she sent me a message today and said that, you know, when she's ready to buy, I sold a property, and she said when she's ready to buy, she'll look me up. So I appreciate you, Symphony.
You are most welcome. I do have a question. I was trying to be quiet, but as a person looking to get into realty, more so, what do you suggest? I heard you say it's very stressful. I watch a lot of house flippings and things like that. And you know, I'm real personal, so I understand the young lady saying that she wants to sell a house, but you really don't. There's a way to prepare for that. What we did, LaShonda knows, I just got to a point. We're ready to sell the house. So those things that I know I'm not going to be using, I pack those things away. To prepare for the showing, there are some things that I would just kind of put up, and that way they can kind of see the room, but they didn't necessarily have to see some of my personal items. But as a person looking to get more into the real estate business, what do you suggest, or how would you suggest I prepare in wanting to do my first flip?
You want to get into the real estate business for the soul of just only investing and flipping, or to become an agent?
I'm considering becoming an agent, but I have a lot of moving pieces in my life. If you remember, still some things that are not settled just yet. So that's a big career change, but it's something that I've always been interested in. So I would say for investing, for the flip, but also just getting to understand the business even more.
Well, I would suggest that, you know, you can partner up with someone who's more so who's very well experienced, and just ask to even shadow that person if they have a flip that's going on. Shadow them and go to some of the properties. That way you can see behind the scenes of what goes on with the flip, because I can tell you one thing, is not for the faint of heart. You have to be very strong and just patient, and a whole lot of other emotions that comes along with investing. So
Yeah.
that property I had, when I say it was stressful,
Mm-hmm.
I had crying many nights.
Ooh, ooh. Well, that's why I stay in touch with you. So I applaud you for getting started on your own. And as I told you, I didn't want to, I appreciated you staying on board with us and just, even though you were trying to establish your own, I was willing to stay with you during that process because you started off doing really well. And I think communication is a huge key when you're selling. And I've had a couple other realtors that they communicated, but I appreciated, even though you were on vacation, I was like, okay, I understand. Just you at least tell us, I'm not gonna be available for a couple of days, but I'm still, if I get something, I'll let you know. So I could appreciate how you communicate. That was a big key to us staying with you, honestly.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Again, that's why I say communication is huge in real estate, and that's what I do. I pride myself on that. So appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I think I have one more question. So, we're leaving in 55 seconds. We will return to the main session. But if your house has been on the market for so long and it isn't selling, what do you suggest can be done to get it sold? Got 44 seconds.
Go back to the drawing board. If it's been on the market that long, it's a good chance that it's overpriced. So
Overpriced.
Would be definitely overpriced, which happens a lot. And I have another story for that. I had a property that was overpriced. I advised my client a certain price, but buyers, they want what they want. And I told her it's overpriced. So we went from 270 to 260 down to 250, and we finally got it under contract as of yesterday. And if
Oh,
you
wow.
listen to that, advice before, it would have been under contract.
Okay. All right. Well, we got 6 seconds left. We will be returning back to the main room.
Welcome back. I didn't want to record this part.